the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
This new breaking report by Ian Rappaport can really shake up things for the Chicago Bears as they enter the offseason. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, I understand this is my second video on Super Bowl Sunday, but before you guys enjoy the Super Bowl festivities, I have a little bit more breaking news, kind of in regard to the Chicago Bears. Not really. It's more of a NFL landscape breaking news, but it can definitely shake things up on how the Chicago Bears plan to approach this offseason. According to Ian Rappaport, the Dallas Cowboys have had some internal discussions to trade Micah Parsons for a King's ransom. Bears fans, all I have to say is that this NFL offseason may be one of the craziest offseasons in NFL history. First, you had Myles Garrett wanting to trade out of the Cleveland Browns, and then obviously Micah Parsons didn't request a trade out of Dallas, but it seems that the Dallas Cowboys are willing to listen to offers for Micah Parsons. Bears fans, I understand that, there's a lot of you guys out there saying, hey, we can't trade for Myles Garrett. I totally understand that. He's 29 years old, about to be 30. He's going to want a massive contract, and I totally get that. The Bears can't mortgage the future for only one player. And I understand this may make no sense to you guys, and I may sound like a hypocrite on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, but to me, Micah Parsons is in a different light than Myles Garrett. Not due to the talent. Obviously, Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons are both outstanding players that can help the Chicago Bears win. But when you're looking at a guy like Micah Parsons, he is a more long-term scenario compared to a guy like Myles Garrett. Once again, when you're looking at Garrett, he's 29 years old. He's about to be 30. He's going to want a big-time contract to make him one of the highest-paid defensive players in the National Football League. There's no long-term scenario with Myles Garrett just due to the age, the draft capital you have to get up, all that good stuff. But when you look at a guy like Micah Parsons is only 25 years old. The guy has barely even reached his prime, really even hasn't even reached his ceiling on how good he can actually be. He is currently one of the best defensive players in the National Football League. And though it may not make no sense to you guys, I would be more willing for the Chicago Bears to go all out and trade for a guy like Micah Parsons, especially if Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are willing to listen. This would be a game-changing move for the Chicago Bears. It would elevate their defensive line, and pairing him with Montez Sweat and Javon Dexter and the pieces that we already have on this defense side of the football would be absolutely amazing, especially when you consider how Dennis Allen wants to approach, calling this defense going into 2025, having a premier pass rusher like Micah Parsons on the other side, a guy that's only 25 years old, and pairing him with Montez Sweat would be an absolutely deadly combination. And obviously, when you hear the words King's ransom, right, you're talking about multiple first-round picks, probably our second-round picks, maybe even a next year's first as well. But my question for you guys, is it worth it to trade for a 25-year-old edge rusher that's already one of the best defensive players in the National Football League today, in a guy like Micah Parsons? Once again, 25 years old. He was the 2021 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's a two-time first-team All-Pro, a four-time Pro Bowler, and he already has 52.5 sacks in his first 4 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys. And along with giving up all that draft capital that it would take to land a guy like Micah Parsons, you would also have to give him a massive contract. He's looking to get paid, and that's why the Dallas Cowboys are in this situation, because they decided to pay Dak Prescott. They decided to pay CeeDee Lamb respectfully, but right now, Micah Parsons is still looking for his new long-term deal. That's going to probably be NFL breaking. He's probably going to be one of the highest, if not the highest paid defensive player in the National Football League. The one thing I can say, the same scenario that when we were talking about Myles Garrett, the Chicago Bears have the money. We have the capital in terms of draft capital to make this happen. And of course, the Chicago Bears also need an edge rusher. I think the problem was when we were talking about Myles Garrett, we were concerned about the age, right? 29 years old, about to be 30 years old. We didn't really see a long-term vision on him joining the Chicago Bears. Plus, Myles Garrett made it very clear that he was also looking for a contender. The Chicago Bears are not currently a contender. Myles Garrett hasn't even requested a trade. He not really even really concerned about going to an instant contender. I think Micah Parsons just wants to get paid, and rightfully so. The guy can do everything you need him to do. You're talking about sideline to sideline. He's fast. He has a flurry of pass rush moves to get to the quarterback. He's constantly in the backfield. He is a game wrecker. He is a generational talent. And if Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are stupid enough to listen to offers, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm dialing the phone right now, getting on the phone with Jerry Jones and then asking him how much it would actually cost to bring Micah Parsons to Chicago. What makes this thing so interesting is that Micah Parsons, on his own podcast, other podcasts around the league, he's actually talked about how impressed he is with the Chicago Bears. Just recently, he was talking about how Ryan Poles and the Bears have the opportunity to really build a dynasty over the next couple of years, just due to the fact that they have their quarterback in place and Caleb Williams is on a rookie deal. So it seems to me that if we did, in fact, try to trade for Micah Parsons, he would probably be pretty happy with the scenario of coming here to Chicago because he's already impressed on what he's seen. He truly feels the Bears, by his comments, could be a true dynasty here in the next couple of years if Ryan Poles builds the right way. And understand, I get it. We have other areas of need. We got to build the offensive line as well. That is first and foremost. But I feel like when you have the opportunity to trade for a guy that's only 25 years old, right? This is almost the equivalent of Luka Doncic getting traded for Anthony Davis in the NBA, right? This would be the type of move for the Chicago Bears. And I just think that when you have this opportunity to trade for a guy like Micah Parsons, I think you at least have to call and see what it would cost. And I understand, you don't want to mortgage a long-term future. We've been there, done that with Khalil Mack. But I still think that you could possibly get a guy like Micah Parsons, pay him, and at least hopefully get maybe one or two guys to try to fix your offensive line as well. And I know that would be a tall ask and probably really hard to do, especially if you have to give up a whole lot of resources to get a guy like Micah Parsons. But to me, this is two different situations. And once again, you guys can agree to disagree with me here and comment down below on how you're feeling about this. But I totally feel that when you're talking about Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons, one is a long-term vision and could be a part of you building a dynasty here in Chicago because he's only 25 years old. One is 29 years old, about to be 30. There's really no long-term vision there. Whether you agree with that or not, that's just my personal opinion. So if I'm Ryan Poles, I would at least go ahead and give him a call. I think it's a game-changing player that would do wonders for the Chicago Bears defense, and I think really help us win games right away. Once again, I am not naive to the fact that giving up a lot of resources for one player, especially when you need to build the offensive line, is probably not the smartest thing to do, which is why I think Ryan Poles may take a step back and not make a move like this. But I am really intrigued to hear what Jerry Jones and the Cowboys actually want. If Ryan Poles, which I think he would be interested in, if he's actually interested in a guy like Micah Parsons, because I feel like this would be a game-changing move for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears to land a guy like Micah Parsons. So overall, we'll see how this materializes. Just because the Dallas Cowboys have had internal discussions doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. But Bears fans, let me ask you guys this. If you are Ryan Poles, and I understand we have a whole lot of areas of need, would you be willing to give up a king's ransom to bring Micah Parsons, the 25-year-old phenom in the NFL, one of the best edge rushers in the National Football League, to Chicago? Let me know down below on what you would do if you were Ryan Poles. But other than that, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears that you know. But other than that, be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.